What up, guys? Nerd Scum here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Secret Empire number 9 by Nick Spencer. And I'm using this cover for the purposes of this video, just in case there's like a spoilery thing on the cover and they've had it censored. So just to be safe, I'm going to go with this cover, but also warn, as always, there will be spoilers, as here in a minute we'll be going through the actual book itself. Right on, so let's take a look at Secret Empire number 9. Alright, so we start off with Steve and Kobik. He had just found her in the previous issue, and she's sad, and because he's classic Steve Rogers, he's trying to find out what's wrong. And through this, he realizes that she's the one who did this, and she starts to help him begin to remember. And then we get the extremely long summary of what's been going on and these guys. Then we have the return of Baron Zemo with T'Challa as his prisoner, because they've overthrown Wakanda. Emma Frost shows up with her delegation of mutants. Let's see here. And then, of course, as this is happening, the battle that we left off with last time is still raging on outside. So we get to see a nice little image of that. And this page is very indicative of the artwork in this book. Like, most of it is pretty solid. Every now and then there's something that's a little sloppier, or where I don't really care for the composition, but in general it's a pretty solid in terms of artwork. So yeah, the Sentry's back and they're doing their thing. The wall has fallen, so all the heroes are showing up. Spidey shows up and has a line of dialogue, because he, hasn't been around. So we go through here, and then also we see that Steve Rogers has sent out his guys again, led by Thor Odinson, who, again, it makes no sense. Like, he's tied to Rogers through loyalty, but that's about it. So basically, we get to this scene where Emma and Steve are talking, because Emma apparently had a piece of the Cosmic Cube that she did not hand over. And she's trying to play diplomat, find the loophole, and basically be like, well, you never specifically said that we had to give you any of the pieces. And he's like, well, I'm going to just, take your country. So, all your people, you're all forfeit because you lied to me. There are no more negotiations. And she's like, well, that's cool because I totally screwed you over too, and my people will never bow to Hydra. And Magneto agrees. And at that point, Magneto begins to attack, and you realize that Emma Frost coming there was all a ruse. It's part of the battle now spilling into Steve Rogers' true comfort zone. So again, we get a few more pretty decent shots of these battles. However, I want to go on, I've said before, and I want to continue to say, Nick Spencer is a good writer, but a lot of his writing feels much more like television or movies, and that's never more true than in, the last couple of issues, because he has one of these kind of speech things that he does going, and it's very, very well written, and it plays out through and so the war raged on, and you get this panel, and then you get, and we fought with everything we had, and so did they. Against the full might of their empire, we struggled as far as we had come. ... And again, this is good stuff. However, if this were a movie and that were narration, this panel would actually be a second or two. So you would actually be seeing the motion and the momentum of this. So, you would also be getting more than just this one snapshot. So, really what we have here, it's one of those things where it's not bad, it's good, but this is a comic book. And in a lot of these, we're not actually seeing, key moments of battle. We're just kind of seeing, cool, heroic poses and stuff like that. With artwork that is meant to incite a specific feeling, and it's very good at doing that. But I still feel that that is an issue, because this is a comic book. It's this is one of the main, we're in the area now where these are all the battles that the people who are really invested in the story have been waiting for. And, while this is very well done, I don't think this really holds up. And maybe in the next issue we'll get something that is more to that kind of, in that kind of direction. But here, it gives the illusion of being way cooler than it actually is. If I'm just going to get down to brass tacks and say it bluntly, I don't like saying it that way because makes it sound like it's not good, but it is good. It's just, yeah, it's Nick Spencer doing Nick Spencer stuff. And Tom King has actually been having the same issue right now in The War of Jokes and Riddles. It's someone telling a big epic story that is really a little bit bigger than the format and the medium that they're trying to do it in, or maybe just the way they're approaching it is a little bit bigger than what they're capable of actually achieving. So there's a lot of them telling you about cool things that they can't show you for time or whatever reasons. And then we get down into here, as that, and again, it's part of that same speechifying, but then like it gets to the Odin son had seen enough, no more. And I'll be honest, like when that moment happened, I kind of got chills a little bit, but then immediately it was shut down by the fact that like no, because it doesn't make any sense that Odin's ever been on Steve Rogers' side. The only reason it's in the story is for this moment. So the logic of the rest of it, I know they built up a lot of stuff as the reasoning behind it, but yeah, no, nope. But then I will again say, like, this is legit cool. Like, it is. It's cool. So then we get back over here and we've got Taskmaster and Black Ant, and basically they're talking about how, like, well, maybe this really wasn't the thing for us anyway, and Taskmaster's been like, I've been in this, like, plenty of times, and, like, this is the moment where, as a profitable mercenary, you switch sides. So then they let out the champions down here while telling them, like, oh yeah, and also let the heroes know that, like, we were nice to you while you were in here, and no punching us. So then Spidey webs them up, and they're on their way. And so now the champions are in the battle here, and then also, got Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl and Vision. And then, of course, older Vision has, like, the virus, and young Vision is like, let me help you by spreading it. Doctor Strange is being a magical pimp, like he do. And he calls Thor back. He calls Thor back, and she's, like, comes out of nowhere and, like, knocks out Scarlet Witch, who's, like, been possessed by some dark thing. And then, like, Lady Thor is just like, oh, no, I don't have my hammer anymore. Shit. And then she turns into, like, Cancer Lady. Jane Foster. I know her name. I know she has a proper name, but yeah. She's Lady Thor or Cancer Lady. Like, that's what they've turned that character into. Anyway. And so, like, yeah, basically he calls to have Falcon, or Captain America still at this point, the good guy Captain America, pull her out of there so that he can work on Wanda. And then we reveal that, like, there's one final plan, and it's, the army that sleeps. And as they're going to do this whole thing, the virus that Young Vision, like, spread affects the soldier guys. Which then also, boom, Bucky enters. And so, yeah, Bucky's back. That's the reveal from the cover. So, spoilers. By this point, you should have known, Really, like, honestly, did any of us really think Bucky was really gone? I mean, I know that at the end of this whole event, they're just going to reset things, and it's not going to matter anyway. But, like, none of us, I don't think, ever believed that Bucky was really gone. In a story about Steve Rogers, they're not going to do that. So anyway, yeah. Zemo kind of gets him on the ropes, but then T'Challa just, like, totally sneaks up behind him and grabs him. He tries to call out to Steve, and T'Challa, like, that is a great little frame of art right there. Just, like, the look on his face, and then T'Challa just, boom, smashing him into the table using the wrist parts of the shackles. Oh, jeez. Like, that's great. That's fantastic. So then we see Sharon Carter, who's been brainwashed by Home Dude, the same guy who brainwashed her into shooting Steve Rogers, and I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now. It's really simple. But anyway, yeah. So she gives him his tea, and he talks about how proud he is of the reprogramming, and then, like, come to find out, oh yeah, like, after the last time, she wasn't playing that stuff. So she taught herself an immunity to his voice, and at that point, she knows Steve, so she knows all his passwords, even if he's gone batshit crazy. So she basically, yeah, like, brings it all down. We see T'Challa watching them release these soldiers, not release these soldiers, but we see T'Challa and basically they are taking the Cosmic Cube and putting it in like what they have of the Cosmic Cube and inserting it into like an Iron Man, Captain America Hydra suit. And now we're back in the other world where Steve is starting to remember everything. And he's beginning to, like, he's basically wanting to reset things and, like, trying to come to terms with, like, what this other incarnation of him has done. And at the end, he's wanting the little girl's help because he knows she can fix it. And she runs away because that's what everyone's always trying to get her to do, is make things better. And it never works out that way. So yeah, you get some more of these kind of, like, there's some really cool art in here. I'm not denying that at all. And these fights with the continued speechifying is very good. But at the same time, we're not really seeing the battle that we're given the impression that we're seeing. So then, like, right at this moment where they're, like, they feel like they're taking it all back, they're on top, Chitala shows up and is just like, run! And ba-ba-boom! Just huge energy, just explosion. And yeah, so, and then it's like, our greatest challenge stood before us still. We had beaten his armies, defeated his allies, but we had not defeated him. So there we have Captain Hydra, for some reason still wearing the A as opposed to an H. That'd be a really easy change. Not like in terms of the art, but like in terms of the costume itself. They clearly already had it, so, and it's already got a finished paint job and everything. But yeah, so to be concluded. Right on. That was Secret Empire number 9, guys. Overall, I thought it was a massive improvement on some of the early issues. Now that we've been moving a little closer to the end of the story, it's a lot less speechy. All good stories like this, all good like war stories or takeover stories have a number of good speeches, but there were several issues of this book that were just, you could have called it Secret Speeches instead of Secret Empire, and it would have been accurate. So it's nice to see like all the characters returning to form, and I'm actually interested to see where this is going to go after this issue. But that's just what I thought. What'd you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and like the video if you liked it, share it with some friends. Nerd Scum out.